get it.
All right, let's get it. Let's get it. All right, you all right?
That granny just makes me smile.
You're right. Nana back in the house in full
Yes.
effect, taking those shorts.
It
Don't
sneaks
ever
up
mess
on
with
you because you go from like, and then it's like, bazooka, cartoon noises.
I like to mix it up. So this week, I'm James from My Take on Reality. This week, we have the most illustrious and special ladies who are coming from different channels, and we all get together because we are the OG3 of reality. In corner right next to me, we have Miss Amanda from Reality Amanda, and right below us, we have Holla in the house. Right below us, we have Sarah from not only Sarah Spills, but from Reality Squad. So make sure you check out both those channels, or all the channels. And also make sure you hit those thumbs up, just like the lady in the intro. Hit that thumbs up. Let us know that you're giving us that love. All right. So this week in the wonderful wild, wild world of Sister Wives, we're doing episodes 9 and 10 from season 2. And as we talk about episodes 9 and 10, it really only covered 2 big issues, one of which was, of course, Mary's surprise birthday party. And the bigger issue, which lasted, and as Christine had even said, will have lasting effects on the family. The family's moved from Lehigh, Utah, all the way out to Las Vegas, and the haggard mess that was. Before we get into it, did you guys have any views on like any takes on like real quick takes on like the episodes, those 2 episodes?
Robin's had to move 4 times in 2 years, you guys.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think we're properly appreciating that.
Yeah, right. And the pain that it causes, the hardship.
She just put away the lots of the boxes.
I only just got to Lehigh.
She just put on the dresser with his birthday money.
Yeah, right.
Get out of here, Robin.
How many people did the just out of curiosity, because I'm maybe I'm being a little catty with this, but how many people actually went back and looked at, or at least thought about when she said, I did 4 moves in 2 years? Did you do the countdown in your head? Like, okay, one move was, I guess, to Vegas. The other move was to Lehigh. The third move would have been the house that you were in St. George. And I guess the 4th move was, do you guys hazard a guess?
One of the moves was divorcing your husband because you met Cody 5 minutes after that. So,
right.
Yeah. Was that where you were going, James?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. I'm glad we're on the same track, because that's what I was thinking.
Totally.
Wait a damn minute.
Yeah.
I'm such a Robin hater. I didn't even do the math on it. I just immediately was like, "Ugh, your crocodile tears." Even though, like, it does look like there is actual liquid in this episode. I was like shocked.
She looked upset, and then we got some real tears from Cody too at one point.
Yeah. This was actually, I think, Cody got emotional before, but this is, I think, the first time we've seen Cody actually break down and cry. Like, he got misty. He had the whole like, oh, when I was sitting on Christine's bed, I was thinking about Robin and that sweetness. And I was stuck with Christine.
I had to own the story.
Yeah. Right. Remember? You said it's time for a wedding. Like, we had that.
Cody's nephew, Ben, actually had a really interesting theory on that. Because he just reacted to season 1, episode 2 over on his TikTok. And he was had this interesting theory on soulmates and how basically, because LDS and especially Mormon fundamentalists believe in like the pre-existence. They believe, you know, how Robin had the idea that she had like a spirit baby coming to her. Like, everyone existed before they were born. So it was, I'm going to mess up what he said, but it was kind of like, almost like Cody's life was stolen from him before Robin, because Robin was his destiny and his soulmate,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Well, because
that's why he was like crying to Christine, like, I'm so pissed that I had to slum it with you three. And now, you know, now I have Robin.
Now I finally found the one.
Exactly.
Well, because I saw the episode that you're referring to, and actually, I'm gonna that'll be later in the previews where I'll be talking about the videos I'm putting out. But I did see the episode of Benjamin's take on that, and it's my understanding that he's basically saying that the soulmates were a pairing that existed in heaven, and so they were in heaven together, and then when they came down to earth, they were separated, and then they met. Like, you'll meet your soulmate here, and that's where the bond, because you already basically have a bond with that person. So
Mormon fundamentalist Mormon twin flame.
Right.
Yes.
It's the same place where like where they talk about kids being up in heaven, like, because you're supposed to have your children already, and they're supposed to be in heaven, and that's why you're supposed to have so many kids down here, because you're supposed to bring those souls from heaven to earth to be with you. And so when Robin was talking, I think it was after the last baby, or maybe before Ari, or a little bit after Ari, she was talking about getting pregnant again, and she said, well, I don't know if I'm going to leave. There's other little babies waiting to come and join us. And that's from that same.
And do you guys remember at one point, I think it was in reference to Isabel, the chat will for sure remind us, but Christine was like, oh, I think Isabel got sent to me by mistake. Like, I think she was meant for Mary or something like that.
Yeah, I do remember that.
It was one of her, and it was like, yes. So it was like, oh.
Yeah, that's hard. Especially, could you imagine being Isabel years later? You hear that, like, what? What are you talking about?
Like, thanks, Mom. Like, love you too.
Oh, here you go. The first time, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live.
Welcome.
Anavari X. One of the things, I guess we can get right into it. What do you guys think? And this is what I was kind of playing around with the idea. Do you guys think that there was any pros to them moving to Vegas? Because we'll get into like the whole move and the debacle of them going. But like, do you think that ultimately there were any pros for them when they were considering moving to Vegas?
Well, Robin's dad lives nearby. Shocker. Imagine that.
Right.
Free videographer for all your birthing needs.
For all your home birth needs. Yeah.
Plenty of experience, apparently. But because
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, for me, like, just after having lived life, I think like, oh, nothing is black and white, right? There had to have been something, but I mean, you asked us earlier, like, our overall impression of these episodes, and like, I was actually horrified watching these back. So I don't know. I was the emotions rewatching this, like, that came out of me. Like, I don't know if it wasn't worth it. I know you said we're gonna get into how they moved, and that's the worst part. But
you're right.
I mean, nobody put a warrant out for them ever. So, like, was it necessary?
I think either Gwen or McKelty. I think it was Gwen, because I don't think McKelty would have said this, but I think she said that whole like hoopla about like the sirens was actually like an ambulance, like, I don't know, like turning around or something. It wasn't even like associated with them at all, but it was like, oh, like, sirens.
Y'all go to jail.
Yeah. And imagine that Cody gets all choked up over a fake investigation, but his very real kids, he doesn't shed a tear.
Well, because he might have been going to fake jail.
Yeah.
And it was going to affect him. It wasn't going to affect...
like Monopoly jail is what we're talking about for Cody.
Well, because as crazy as it is, I do have some conspiracy theories.
Ooh, yay! I love a conspiracy.
Right. When I was watching, I was like, oh, shit. I was putting stuff together. You ever have those click moments? You're like,
Yeah.
shit. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it makes perfect sense.
After this
when I step
Karen
back
Reed
from
trial, I trust no one.
Right.
Question everything.
Right. Maybe the police were after Cody. Like,
I mean,
maybe he was on to
we
something.
could channel it in better places, that's for sure.
Right. So we'll start off overall, I think that the long-term pro of them moving to Vegas, I guess that's not fair because I told you guys not to do it, but the long-term pro for me is that the kids were kind of broke out of the little small community mindset that they were in Utah, and they were allowed to explore the bigger world, and that might have set them free in a lot of regards. But they couldn't have possibly saw it. I don't think that they counted on that happening, and nor did they see that coming. So I can't necessarily give them that as a pro. Like, there's a shit ton of cons though. Like, and one of the cons for me was the first thing Christine said. Christine came right out the gate and said, "I disagree with this move. I disagree with this. This is not the plan. This is not a good move." Cody looks her right in the face and said, and Cody decided that he was the leader and he had to make a decision. Are you guys have any feelings about Christine coming down hardlining it right off the rip, and then Cody coming down, slapping her down right after she makes her position?
I think Christine was always willing to say on camera the things that I think Mary and Janelle thought were just, we're not going to talk about that, like,
right.
But Christine was like, no, like, we have marital problems. Like, I don't agree with this. I'm jealous. You don't spend enough time at my house. Like, she was willing to say all those things on camera. And I don't know if what the conversations were like before they went on the show, but I have to believe that they all came to some sort of mutual understanding, like, we're gonna put our best foot forward, and Christine just was like, nah, screw that. I'm just gonna let it all hang out.
I'm gonna tell the truth.
Yeah.
Cody was like yelling at Christine off camera when she was making it.
I shudder to think as to what kind of talking to like Christine has gotten from time to time.
Right.
For things that she said on the show.
And I think that that's an excellent point too, because if you really think about it, one of the mainstays of these, like the polygamy propaganda program, is always, especially when it comes to women, is that it's always the lady's choice. The women have so much power in these families, and they get to decide whatever it is they want to do. Up until the time you look them in the face and say, "We're moving," they say, "I don't want to move." Well, too bad, lady. Pack your stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's as far as your power goes. So I thought that part of it was very telling, because that was like the first, but maybe not the first big crack, but it's certainly a big crack in their like cover story about the polygamy propaganda of how wonderful polygamy is, not only for the men because we get the benefit of having multiple wives and escapes, but it's so wonderful for the women because they have all these sister wives in the community that apparently they're tied to and they can't disagree with. And what did you guys think? Cody, of course, his position was we're going to keep the family together. Christine, she didn't want to leave her community, and she said it didn't feel right. And she said something that I thought it was the second time she said this, and it was so prophetic, it was ridiculous. She said, "This will tear our family apart." She said that about this move to Vegas, and way back when, she said that about Robin. And both of those things turned out to be true.
Didn't she say you're replacing your family with Robin and her kids or something in the very first episode? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Nostradamus over here predicting the downfall of this family.
But also, like you said earlier, Sarah, Christine is the most real. And like, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but these episodes are so horrible to watch because it's kids. Like, I didn't want to watch it, to be honest. It was like hitting me too hard. I was like, this is just horrible. Like, if it's this traumatic and you have to do it, like probably shouldn't have filmed it looking back. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating, but it just seems I'm just, while I'm watching it, I'm like, this is horrible. This is horrible. This is horrible.
You're exactly right, Amanda. And I think, looking back on, like Bethany Frankel talks about like a reality reckoning or whatever over on Bravo. But like when you look back on TLC and all these shows that featured like families like John and Kate +8 and Little People Big World, because that show's been on for so long. And just what people were willing to expose their kids to as far as like publicity and stuff. We think about it a lot differently nowadays. And it's like, and so it makes watching some of these episodes really, it feels gross. It feels like we're intrusive. I'm telling you guys, when we get to the adoption episode, those episodes are real bad. Poor Dayton in those episodes. So yeah, it's like we're peeping toms or something on like a really private pain that these kids are going through that these adults subjected them to so unnecessarily. It's so ridiculous. Did the kids have to be adopted? No. Did they have to move? No.
Right. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, I think that it'd be a fair, because that's a natural jump point. Let's talk a little bit about the kids and the move, because Amanda, you expressed that this was a kind of a traumatic thing, not only for the kids, but apparently it was a traumatic for you too. You're like, why are we doing this? Yeah, I get it. There's certain movies, like the first 5 minutes, I don't even want to ever watch that again. I saw it once. I don't need to see it twice.
Yeah, like it's almost like scenes where like animals are going home to their heavenly dog home. Like I just can't. I fast forward every time. I just can't. Like I can't watch the sadness.
The other thing that was really difficult in these episodes for me was it's clear that Leon is coming into the realization of like who they are, and they're fighting. It's my perception is that they're fighting as hard as they can against their identity, and they're cocooning themselves in what feels safe to them. They know this school, they know, this church, they know these people, and this is what was always taught was good and moral and right, and I need to be a sister wife, and that'll make it so I'm not maybe X, Y, and Z way. And this was terrifying for Leon. And you can see the fear in their face this whole episode. And I was just like, oh my God, what are you doing to your kids?
Right. Yeah.
It worked out for Leon. I think that they're much happier now. I think the show was a net positive for them in particular, because could you imagine if Leon was in living polygamy? Like what their life could have been like?
Yeah. Well, because I think that was the only way that it would have been palpable for them to be involved in a relationship like that, is to have the distraction of, at least I ain't got to deal with this clown every day. Like he'll come by, he'll hang out, maybe we'll do business and try to, get pregnant or whatever. But other than that, I'm going to focus on the things I want to focus. And, and that would have been, and the sad part is because they would have been denying so much of themselves, that would have been the best that they could hope for. You know what I mean? In a way, it would have been very sad, I think. A sad existence for them.
Yeah, it was lemonade, but that doesn't take away from like the trauma of the event as a whole,
Right.
Like the list that Leon made for all the reasons to be
that was funny.
First of all, the dance. What? Oh my!
I am so mature. That is why I should stay behind.
Like, there's no way Sally and Susan can handle this on their own, Dad. I have to stay behind and help. But these are very real to how old were they? Like 15 or something? To a 15-year-old, these are very real pressing matters at hand, and you're just gonna rip them out of that.
Right.
Yeah. At one point, is it Cody who says, "I know what you're going through," and as an audience member, I was like, "No, you don't." Look, the adults are struggling just as hard, but they're not going through, like, when you are moving as a kid and you have to start all over as a kid, it is so different than when you're an adult. It just is.
Right.
We all know,
That's
I
a good
don't know
point.
if when you guys were in school, but second semester would start and then there would inevitably be like a kid that started in your grade. And I went to a really small school. So when that kid started, it was like,
Right.
like,
Yeah,
what's your story? Like, yeah, like, are you real? You're an alien? Yeah, it was. It's you go from a traumatic experience and now you're like under a interrogation light at your new school. It's like it's just all around straight up not a good time.
Right. Well, because I think with the dance part, like I thought about it, because at first I was like, oh, I wish somebody would have helped her with a list. But wish they would have helped her.
Make
Like an
a better
adult should,
list, kid.
right? Mary should have jumped in there. Like, I would have helped. Like, because I was thinking, like, what would happen if it was me and I was working with my daughter and she came to me and said, "Dad, I don't want to move, and can you help me convince Mom that not to take us or whatever?" I would sit there if I wanted her to stay. Then I'd be like, "All right, let me see your list. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about these things because they're important to you, but we're going to rearrange them." Like we'll talk about the bigger things and maybe tell her what to say or how to say it. But with this, I think that the dance part, at least the way I got it the second time I watched it, was that the dance was maybe she was helping to organize the dance.
I think so.
And she wanted to be responsible for
and James, they just to
I'm
correct.
sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that they wanted to be, they were trying to be responsible for that. You know what I mean? Like I took this on and I want to be responsible and live up to my responsibilities. And I don't want to push it off on somebody else. So don't make me be the bad person. And I get that. Like I think that's commendable, and it says a lot about where they were. But again, it's probably not the strongest list ever. But with
it did not sway
said,
Cody, that's for sure.
No, but I needed it. I was about to I was like, I can't with this episode. I'm like, thank God there's something to laugh at. Like,
Leon, you planned that dance. You planned that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what did you guys think about like the from even with Cody, like when he looked at him and said, "Look, I don't care," and Leon provided the list, and he just said basically, "Fuck it, like I do what you want to do. You're going with me." How do you guys feel about that? Like, because that also reveals a lot about where Cody was, because he was trying to take the hard line. I'm the leader, and I made a decision. But by doing that, I think he gave up. He ceded a lot of ground as far as like the sensitive male figure and the fatherly father type person, Leave It to Beaver type dad or whatever. What do you guys think about that? Because he tried to at least appear to be open to a conversation, but I didn't really feel like he was open.
He's taking notes in his stupid little notebook. Like, what are you like doing minutes here?
I think it also left a lot of the softening of the blow up to Logan to do, because he came in and just dropped a bomb, and then Logan was left to like mitigate all the fallout with all the kids, because Logan was the one the kids actually could lean on and rely on. And Logan's talking in this episode like he just got deployment orders. He's like, well, I gotta tie up some loose ends. I'm like, this dude is 16 and he's talking like he's about to ship off to overseas or something. It's the saddest thing. And then, I can't imagine if I had a best friend and all of a sudden in 3 days later, they were just gone with no warning. I would be devastated. And this whole, like, Amanda, you're not wrong in your like visceral reaction to this, because it's a real gnarly situation. And I can't believe that back in the day when I was watching this, I was like, oh yeah, you guys gotta go. You got leave yesterday. What are you talking about?
Right. Why are you still there? Well, what do you guys think about like the because I think part of the cruelty of the entire thing was the timing,
Mm-hmm.
and we're actually kind of stepping into close to the big reveal of the my conspiracy, but the timing of it all is very suspect to me, and just from the respect of you wait until essentially, guys, in 3 days we're leaving, and you tell your kids that in 3 days, guys, first we're moving, the most devastating news that they could hear. Everything you know, we're going to abandon that. Your friends, the people the attachments you have at school, screw that. We're moving. Oh no, Dad, when are we moving? I guess we're moving at the end of summer or during the summer. No, son, we're moving in 3 days. What was the purpose of the immediate move? Like, and then why couldn't they tell their friends? Because that was also part of it. Because he said, not only are we moving in 3 days, but you can't tell your friends. Why couldn't they tell their friends?
It was so stupid. If we're to believe the storyline, it's so they can leave in the quiet of the night. But then, we find out TMZ knows and has like already made it a story before they go. So it was it was pointless. There was no point. TMZ found out anyways. And like,
right.
Duh, like, are you kidding? There's like 80 million of them. Of course TMZ is going to notice.
Right. Well, then the moving vans didn't help. So there's always that. But what do you think, Sarah? What do you think, Sarah?
Well, if you were truly worried, you probably shouldn't have gone on the news to announce to the entire world that you are polygamous. It's like there's these conflicting stories happening with the Browns where we want to own our family, we want to be able to claim our family, but someone I saw in the chat was wondering if this was a storyline, a plot line. And I sometimes wonder that myself, because it was like, were you truly scared of prosecution? Because if you really were, I have to believe that you would have never done a TV show.
Right.
It
doesn't add up.
If you were really worried about your family being separated, then you would have never, but there were all these benefits that you guys are telling us to going public. Your kids they can all claim each other as siblings. They can claim all the moms as moms. You can claim Cody as your husband. There's all these benefits. But until it comes time to, there might be a different living situation that might be a better option for Robin, and all of a sudden we have to leave in the middle of the night.
Right. Well, I'll say this. This is one of my things that you brought up, is that the idea of you having to move. I thought about it from respect of when I look at things, I say, am I looking at it through my view, or am I understanding it the way they think I understand it? And I mean this. Cody and Robin and Janelle, Christine, all of them, Mary, they always say things like, oh, you monogamous say this, or you monogamous believe that, right? And I was looking at it from a person from the outside. And when I look at it from a person from the outside, oh my goodness, they're afraid because they are breaking the law. And everybody knows that they're breaking the law. And if they come out and they're on TV, then the people flouting the law, then the people are going to come and get them, et cetera, et cetera. But then when I think about it, there are families in that town that everybody knows is a polygamous group. The Kingston's group, they all know that they're polygamous. The Jeffs group, they knew that they were polygamous. And Utah didn't come running down there with SWAT vans and paddy wagons and taking split families up to arrest everybody. It was publicly known. It just wasn't known nationally. Like, I didn't really know the Kingston group or the Webbs or the Warren Jeffs people until after the show came out, and then you really start getting into polygamy and you start figuring out about these families. Mm-hmm. And the way they present it to us, like, I would think about it as, oh, if you're breaking the law on TV, then yeah, clearly you're going. Of course you're going to jail, dummy. Like, what are you expecting something different? But for them, the DA and everybody else, if they come and get the Brown family, then how are you letting the Kingston group exist? How are you letting Warren Jeff's group, the people walking around looking like Little House on the Prairie, you know what I mean? How are you letting them pretend like you don't see them? So I think that they used in a weird way, and I intentionally say this, I think they used, at least for me, they used my prejudice against me. You know, you understand what I mean? Because I wouldn't assume that they would know, or I wouldn't assume that the DA knew about them and it was open season. Somehow when they came out and said we got on a TV show and we revealed that we were polygamous, that somehow the DA just figured out that this is a polygamous group. There are people in Utah that are living polygamy all over the place. So it's a quiet secret. It's an open secret that everybody understands and knows. It's just exploited a little more because it's on TV.
Well, we're supposed to believe the storyline that they're afraid they're going to be made an example of or punished for going on TV, unlike all these other families in hiding. So if you think they all are like actually like, nah, I know we're not going to get arrested. What is going on with Janelle? Janelle like loses her crap in these episodes. Janelle's like, gotta go yesterday, gotta go 5 seconds ago. I'm abandoning them. I'm just leaving them. I'm leaving everyone behind. Like, what is going on with Janelle? Is she active?
I think that Janelle, much like the kids, were forced into a sense of panic by the images and the messages that were set out by Cody as he was getting the thing that he wanted. Because if you notice, when he was sitting there talking to Janelle about a moving truck, what did Janelle say? Janelle said, well, I don't think it's a good idea for us to put a moving truck out front because then they're going to know we moving and that defeats the whole purpose. And no, I don't want to stick around until Tuesday. Why aren't we packing up our shit and getting the hell out of here because it's Monday? And she's panicking. And he's playing on the fact that she's panicking in order for him to get the things that he wanted. Conspiracy.
Woo, woo, woo.
Right. I need one of them lights.
Yeah.
Here's what I was thinking. Let me know what you guys think about this. I started thinking about the dates, right? At first, they said we have to move because this is the end of the semester. And I said, okay, well, usually the end of the semester is right around the time of December. Like, so that would be halfway through. That'd be the end of second semester. Would be for Lehigh. I actually looked it up. In Lehigh, their semester actually ends in January. The second semester. The third semester, which would have been the next semester right after they came back from the holiday, that would have been in March, right? And then, of course, they only have 3 months to summer. So I thought about it, and I said, the pregnancy. Robin was pregnant because remember she was in the rental house when she came out and said, oh, yeah, we have a secret. And it's so special. And we'll talk about it in the next episode. We did the whole reveal that I'm pregnant and it's a surprise and it was revealed in the house. But how in the world would she know she was pregnant? Because Solomon's birthday is in October. That would have been, which means that she got pregnant sometime in January. And so how would she know she was pregnant? They only had the house for 30 days, if you remember. They only had the house for 30 days. Usually, most people don't go pee on a stick until they miss their first period. So how would you, if you got pregnant at the end of January, how would you know to go pee on a stick? I missed my period. Let me go pee on a stick in January in order for you to have your baby in October. So I think that the TLC played with the timelines on us. Like I think they played with the timelines. I think she was pregnant before she went out. My theory is this. I think that she was pregnant and she knew she was pregnant before they got out to Las Vegas, which is why they were moving out to Las Vegas. Because she said during that episode, I'm going out to Vegas, me, Mary, and Cody, and we're going to meet up with my dad and go on a trip. You know who else lives in Vegas? Her mom. Who do a lot of ladies want to have in the delivery room and help them with their kids? They mom. If they can move to be around their mom, that makes sense to me because the entire move to Vegas otherwise does not make sense. Why would you move to a place that, I want to go somewhere where I can have religious freedom? Why would you move to Vegas when you could go to Wyoming? Your dad lives in Wyoming. Polygamy. Mm-hmm. You have AUB members that are right around that area in those other states. They aren't in Vegas. Why would you move the hell to Vegas? The only people in Vegas is your parents. And again, I think that this is mirrored to the fact that, like the Arizona trip, the Vegas trip was kind of that precursor where they moved the entire family on short notice to appease Robin because it's something that she wanted to do. Let me know what you guys think.
I think I totally buy into that. I've always thought, I think if Robin wasn't already pregnant, she was definitely planning on getting pregnant, and they were gonna have to do something, right? Like, you can't have just one household in one house and then the rest of your households in one house. Like, that was never gonna work. So they had to move somewhere. And yeah, it was like, why not Vegas? They could have found houses or something in Lehigh so all the kids could, it could be homeostasis with the kids, but no, uproot them, move them, because yeah, why not? And you know what? Like, there are times where I don't necessarily fault Robin, because why not plant a seed that would be advantageous to yourself? I probably would have done the same thing. Robin doesn't really know these kids at the time. She has no loyalty to these wives. Right. Why not? Like, she's always looked out for number one, right? And her kids. Right. So if we're, and I can see the way she would rationalize it to herself. Well, it's like, we're all gonna have to do something. So why not? And she probably didn't feel bad about it.
Right. No tears shed. No F's given. No F's given.
Just for herself for moving 4 times in 2 years.
Right. I've been inconvenienced.
Yes.
But how about this? We were first presented. This is actually the first time that we were presented with the idea of them moving and living in the one big house. They presented the one big house to us. In fact, they called a realtor when they were talking about moving to Vegas and said that they wanted to have separate wings for the house, like 4 separate wings for this big magical house that they were going to build. They were looking at 10,000 square foot homes. And as it turns out, there's only 4 or 5 bedrooms in those houses. And they didn't understand why this was.
Right. He's like, that was a real bummer. I'm like, dude, what planet are you living on?
We realized we would need a house with like 15 bedrooms.
Right. I was like,
how come that wasn't already built for us?
Yeah.
Right. It's the way I wanted it. But at that point, I was like, you aren't even looking for a house. What you're looking for is an apartment complex. Like, you're looking to buy an apartment complex. You're not looking to buy a house, multifamily dwelling. But even those are like, you're buying an apartment, so it's only like 3 bedrooms in each one of those. So good luck with it.
I was just watching a YouTube. Oh, go ahead. Actually.
On Midi 499 super chat. What if Cody promised Sobs before marriage that they'd move to Las Vegas? Oh wow! And the 2 of them cooked up the drama to do it. Random thought. Wow. Okay. Thanks for the super chat.
Smells good. It's cooking.
But holy shit! Yeah. I never thought of that, but that's a good point. That's a good point. Oh, you're saying, Sarah? Wow, that's good.
Oh, I was watching a YouTube video today about the Gilded Age in New York and all these mansions, like what happened to them, like all these rich people's mansions. And this Schwab mansion was turned into an apartment complex. So one house was turned into a 600+ unit dwelling.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
No, that's like some Downton Abbey, New York City style.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, real life Gilded Age. There's a lot of like historical content creators on YouTube. That's like the rabbit hole I go down when I'm at work. So, it's quite fascinating.
What about the And Cody's position that he knew the move was going to be challenging for the kids, so he insisted that it could be switched out and it could be, assuaged a little bit if he got himself a pool.
That's one area where I thought he was smart because, like, kid, I would have been like, "Oh, there's a pool. All right, cool. I'll move to Siberia. That's cool. Like wherever,
Right.
as long as it has a pool."
I can confirm, having an almost 5-year-old, that you say pool, it's like you can get them to do just
Anything.
about anything. A pool and an otter pop, it's like they will do what you need them to do.
So Cody was working a little bit of magic as far as you guys are concerned.
Well, I don't think he can work any, like, he mishandled every freaking thing in these episodes. But that was his one smart decision, was like, yeah, let's try to get a pool.
Mm-hmm. The only thing is that a pool is so expensive to maintain. And Cody would have been bemoaning having a pool if they ever got one when they were in the cul-de-sac or anything. So it was nice that they had, I think one of their rentals in Vegas had a pool, right? Was it Janelle's? Or two of them did?
Yeah, Mary and Janelle had them.
So it was nice that they could like rent a home with a pool, so it wasn't like, the full-on responsibility. Because pools are expensive.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend out of college. Story time. I had a friend out of college when we graduated. He was a little more well-heeled than I was, but when he came out, he bought a house. He went and bought a house, and he grew up in a house where they had pools. So he absolutely refused to do another pool because he knew that it wasn't just expensive, but it's a lot of work for you to maintain it. Or it's going to cost you money to pay for a pool boy to come out and do it. Pool boy, pool girl, pool guy, whatever. Pool person. So he was like, the hell with it. When he put in his bid for the house, he made them cement the pool up. He made them fill the pool up. It was insane. I was like, why would you buy that house? Why would you just go down the street, get a house with no pool in it? Save yourself some time and money. But he was insistent.
And pools, it costs a lot to fill in a pool too. But then that's like a one-time expense, and then you don't have the ongoing expense. My cousin lives about 5 minutes from me. He has a slightly bigger house than me, but he has a pool. His electric bill alone is consistently like $100 more a month than mine. Just for like, and we have similar houses, and it's really expensive.
Does he have like the strobe lights in the bottom and all that?
No, but
like the disco pool, like
yeah, they have like a nice setup out there, and shoot, we go swimming in it, so I appreciate knowing someone with a pool. But I'm glad that I don't have to deal with a pool, because he's constantly like, oh, this broke, I have to do this, blah blah blah, mold or grime or whatever in the pool, and it's like the pH is off or whatever you have to do because you have the tablets and stuff. It's a nightmare.
No. Just give another positive. Christine got out of the basement and was able to have her own space, so that was a positive for her moving to Vegas.
True. Yes.
The great escape, as it were. What did you guys think about like the okay, yeah, that's a different thing. What did you guys think about the recon trip? Like, because it was like, it turned into a whole recon trip where it was supposed to be Mary, Cody, and Robin decided they were going to go to Vegas to give a little preliminary look around and see what they like. And this is the magical three triplets that decided to get together and bring Robin into the family. So I thought it was kind of ironic that they were also a big part of the move to Vegas, which would eventually destroy the family.
Yeah, and then they betray her, not to change the subject, but they end up kind of betraying her on the Monday-Tuesday debate. So It's really just Cody and Robin pretending Mary's in the friendships or the special inner circle.
That right. Should have been clue 1 for Mary. You know, Christine is over here predicting all this stuff, and Mary's just over here missing all the red flags. She's like the Matrix, like Bob.
Right.
Yeah. Because you think you're on the inside, and then all of a sudden the day of the week for the move is all of a sudden planned out, and Mary has a light bulb moment like, oh, did you guys talk about that when you were together? Oh, no. And Mary just takes that as gospel.
Right. Not that I'm trying to say nothing, though. Like, I'm not trying to offend anybody with my observation, which is 100% accurate. Though.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the one thing. And it kind of struck me that, like, 2 points struck me. One, was Mary invited to the Vegas trip because they wanted her input? Or was she invited to the Vegas trip because it was her birthday and they were trying to do the surprise party? And they were kind of forced to take her, you know?
I feel like Mary is like an afterthought for a lot of, like, who gets custody of Mary this weekend? Cody and Robin are going out of town. Well, the show wants us to plan this party, so you guys have to take her. Like, okay, Mary,
how do I terminate my parental rights?
Yes.
We're going to court for that. And here's the other part of it. The second part, it like, because like I said, the one thing, how you start is how you finish, and the consistency. I always like consistency, but it did strike me that for both of the big moves, not only for Arizona but for Vegas, Robin got to go on both of those trips to see the new places before anybody else. She got to go on the lay of the land trips, and I thought that was a little telling and a little weird, because she has a lot of say for somebody, especially somebody who's new to the game, somebody who's new to the family. Mm-hmm. She has a lot to say.
And if you think about it in the terms that like Ben was talking about, like Cody feeling like this was his soulmate, that makes sense, right? That she would like, it almost doesn't matter. And I think Ben talked about this, like the order of the wives doesn't matter if you're first wife, second wife, third wife. When you're the soulmate wife,
right,
it doesn't matter what order you come in.
This is true. Well, because that's kind of the weird thing too, because part of me, when I saw it, and maybe this is kind of a jerk move, but when I first saw like the three of them walking down the street, I said, oh, look, it's Cody, his first wife, and his real wife. Because that's how it kind of that's how it kind of came off. You know what I mean? Because the only person he really cared about, like the only opinion that really mattered to him, was Robin's opinion. So it was kind of a weird place for me with that. What did you think about? Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say the other thing, I think this was just such a good example of the way like Robin would manipulate a narrative to suit her, even if she was, out of all of the family members, if she was like benefiting the most from the move, which she was in this situation, she was going to have to, like, again, if you think about the fact, like, okay, this living situation that they had wasn't going to work. Couldn't have 3 households in one house and 1 household in another house. So everybody was going to have to move, but they didn't have to move to Vegas. And Robin crying about 4 houses or 4 moves in 2 years. Well, you likely were going to have to move anyways, Robin, you know? So like, quit your bitching.
Right. Stop crying.
Yeah.
Stop crying.
He would have told Christine to stop crying if Christine was sitting there like, oh, we just moved. Suck it up,
or
Christine.
He would have cut her with such a hard look. It would have been insane. It would have been insane. Well, what do you guys think about like the fact that they went out to Vegas, the 3 of them, the 3 amigos? They went out to Vegas and they found this group, like they saw the houses. they were like, this is kind of cool. And they presented the whole idea. What if we had a cul-de-sac? It could be Peligro, and it would be so amazing. A little foreshadowing. And then and then they say they found 4 houses that were being developed. So these are the new houses on the same street. They had the lease to own options and the financing, even though it might be a little difficult for like 4 traditional homes, they might be able to pull this down with these 4 brand new houses. What did you guys think about that? Like that whole storyline?
At first, I was like, man, this is going to be so boring. I don't want to have to rewatch all this like real estate stuff. Cause like, it's like basically like at least 2 whole seasons worth of storylines, is all this future real estate stuff. But then as it started, I was rewatching the episode. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Cause all their comments age like milk, but the excitement they have for this future 4 houses around a cul-de-sac, and I'm like, Robin and Cody's they're gonna throw it all away. Like it just I actually was interested in watching it because I was like, you liars, you don't care about any of this. As soon as Dayton is allowed to go to college, you're gonna bust up the whole family with some BS excuse. So we're now no longer okay with having values wise living in Vegas, blah blah blah, whatever. It's just
right.
Anger is what I was feeling.
Like I no longer want to have 4 big beautiful McMansions. I want to move who are right next to each other and closely situated. I want to move where we're miles away from each other, because surely that'll keep the family together.
Well, really, Cody just got sick of his other wives being able to keep tabs on him.
Oh, you mean spy? Because that's how he's
like he
spy on him.
Because he knew they were never going to live in one household again. Like that whole thing was for sure just for show. That whole when they were moving to Flagstaff and he pitched the one house, he knew that was never going to go over. But if he had them in 4 separate homes, a drive away from each other where Christine couldn't look out her window and see him at Robin's house, he would always have plausible deniability. Oh, I was working. I was at Mary's. Well, no, okay, no one would believe that. But like I was at Janelle, so-and-so had a game or something.
Right. Well, I think that he probably would have been, and this is kind of jacked up, but I think that he would have did the whole like traditional male lie. He wouldn't have said where he was. He just would have said where he wasn't. Mm-hmm. So when he goes over to Robin's house, if she's not next door, they can't see that he's over at Robin's house. He's over at Robin's house for the day. He pulls in 6:30 in the morning, leaves Christine's house, rolls out of bed with her, runs over to Robin's house, there by 7, and he's there from 7 to 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And then he comes into Janelle's house. Janelle says, well, where the hell are you? Where did you go? Instead of him saying, well, were you at Robin's? He'd be like, no, I wasn't at Robin's. I was busy. I was doing things. He'll never say like, this is where I was. This is what I was doing. And you can check on me. He'll just tell you like, no, I wasn't at Robin's. Knowing full well he was at Robin's. And if you ever do find out he was at Robin's, he'll say, oh, I just stopped by for a couple minutes. I don't know why you're tripping.
And what I love is like once they move to Flagstaff, but before Christine leaves. So like in seasons like 15 and 16, he and Robin will arrive places separately. Like we'll drive separate cars. And it's like, and it'll be like, oh, where were you? Oh, I was at Robin's. You mean your house. You were at your house.
They're so lacking in self-awareness. Like any single person who watches a show is going to buy that. Oh, I guess they must not be spending so much time together. Like you literally now have revealed you never loved them or are lying about it, whatever. It's just, oh my God. And that's a good point, James. Like he can totally jacks it if he's a monogamous and like, I'm going to the gym and do whatever he wants. And like, but if he wants to just be with Robin, which is what he wants, he has to have them all separate. So that's really the deal. Oh man, you're both right. And like, yeah, totally don't believe he ever wanted the one house. No way, because they later on, they go to the guy who ends up banging the twins. And I think it's their house, and he's like, "Oh, my wives could never share a kitchen." Like he totally knows that's never going to happen.
Right.
I love this concept because I never really got this. Like, why is there beef over a kitchen? Like, okay, I've never shared a house with someone who was sleeping with my husband, but like I've had roommates in my adult life where I have shared communal living space, like a living room and a kitchen. And maybe it hasn't always been perfect, but we haven't came to like blows over.
Oh, you had good roommates, Sarah. That's what you're telling us. You had all good roommates.
I've been blessed for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like, how bad could it be to share a kitchen? And it's like, really, if someone's banging your husband, is it really that much worse to like, and now you're using my pants? Like,
Sarah, you've clearly never had somebody like stick a padlock over their milk or, like.
I have had, when I was in college, I lived in a house where there was like 7 of us in one house. So we had to have 2 refrigerators, and one of our roommates labeled everything. Like butter was labeled, milk was labeled.
Putting the lines on the ketchup, don't you use my condiment?
And it was
1956.
Okay, like that's cool. We could have like 3 different gallons of milk, whatever. Like, that's cool.
Wow. I mean, I can see if you had like, specialty foods, like if you had a thing of truffles, like, okay, fine, maybe, But if you're like, my generic, store brand butter, you better not touch this. Like,
but
again, James, you had great roommates. But I've had such terrible roommates. They would eat all my butter. Can you believe that?
Oh,
I'm serious.
So you come in, they be eating a big butter sandwich.
Like a carrot. A rabbit with a carrot.
This picture,
how you doing? My cholesterol is horrible.
Was very frugal, knew the exact division. Before I would live, so this is like a 3-bedroom apartment. This room's slightly bigger. Okay, maybe that person has their own bathrooms. Okay, they'll pay a little bit more. But this particular roommate, like, got out like square. Oh, you occupy like 200 square feet of this. Like, she just very particular. But you know what? I love that roommate. We're still
keeping tabs on how often you flush the toilet.
I mean, just barely below that. But it's like you knew what to expect. But anyways, I couldn't imagine, like, so I didn't really grasp the concept of like how bad could it be to share a kitchen? Like,
right. Well, I mean, it could have been like but they might not have been arguing over spoons as much as spooning. So at the end of the day, it could have just been like a euphemism for other stuff.
James, you're still reading the book, right?
Right.
From what Janelle describes of Mary in the book, like Mary was horrific. So
yeah, I don't want to share my kitchen, and if I have to, oh my God, please not Mary.
No,
love her on TV. Don't want to share my kitchen with her.
Yeah.
Well, because it just sounded like she was she did everything but pee in the corner because she was marking the territory.
She did everything but pee on Cody. Like,
right?
Yeah.
Hey, we don't know what they did. She might have.
We don't know. I'm gonna say the same thing.
Gino and Jasmine on 90 Days Fiancé, that they do that kind of stuff.
Right. Water sports, like me and Amanda were both in the same gutter. Thank you. Nice to see you, neighbor. At least I'm not the only one down there. That's not. Sometimes I feel bad about myself. Like, wow, James, you need work. Elizabeth Bain, $10 super chat. Hello, OG3, sharing the love from Sydney. What's going on? What's going on, mate? Oh, that's my best accent. I apologize. That was terrible.
No, you didn't.
That was terrible. I apologize. That was horrible. I tried my best, though. I tried to make you feel welcome.
We're Americans. We can't help it. We just,
right.
At least you didn't mention a Barbie.
Yeah.
Or a shrimp.
Say a bloomin' onion.
Yeah. I was gonna say what's the restaurant
Outback?
Outback, there you go.
Or Australians.
Call it Binnigans.
Binnigans. You know, every American that goes to Australia is just like, Outback Steakhouse. Am I right, mate? Huh?
Yeah.
Outback? I'm an American.
They probably don't even have Outbacks out there. Like,
No, they don't. For
No,
sure.
they have the Outback. Out
Yeah,
there.
right.
the real Outback. The one that will kill
Like,
you.
he's trying to get killed out here. Like, he is not ready. You know what I mean? I am not ready for prime time. What did you guys think about like the with the house? I did have something about that. Hold on, what's this? The money. When they were talking about moving to Vegas, something did. Here's my other conspiracy theory. When they were talking about moving to Vegas, I thought about it and I said, why was it so pressing that they moved to Vegas? And originally, I think it could be a couple reasons. Originally, they were talking before about struggling with their finances. Remember, like Janelle in the first season was talking about, I don't know how I'm gonna pay the bills next month, and we put the pot together and month to month. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Then all of a sudden, they're talking about going out to Vegas and buying 4 brand new, never lived in before homes. How in the world were they planning to do that? Like, I have a theory, and my theory is this. I think that when they were talking about going to Vegas, it was the book money that they were looking at. They were using the book money that's what sparked the idea that they could actually do Vegas.
Thank you. That is like the hidden plot line to this storyline is how are they affording this? And I was like, wait, season 1, reality shows don't pay season 1 cast members like that much money to like spend what they were probably like, how much did this move in all these new houses and rentals and their old mortgages? Like they're just like burning money, I imagine. So thank you, Detective James. Oh my gosh. That was the biggest question mark in the back of my head watching this.
Right. Like, how the hell? Like, it's 4 houses. Buying 4 lived-in houses. Like, I don't know what you call it. Like, I don't know what you call it. Regular houses that everybody else would buy. You know what I mean? And most people can't afford. Most people can't buy a house. You know what I mean?
Right. They're not like buying trailers.
Right. Or buying a car. You know? Like, I'm going to just go down and buy me a trailer to put my car in that I didn't measure.
Right.
Like,
I was just going to say, I have a cousin, my wife's cousin, like, he's one of those dudes who like lived in a U-Haul for like 2 years, saved a crap ton of money. They're not doing that.
Right. And so, like, how are they coming up with all this money? Because the down payment by itself would murder most people. Like, with that much money for 4 houses, you know, at $400,000 a piece, like you're looking at what, 20%? So you're looking at what, 40,000 for each house times 4. Like, come on, like. 160, like what is that? Close to $460,000 in just down payment, and that's before payments. Like, you're crazy. Nobody's doing that. So I didn't really think about it, but yeah, that's what really struck me is that it was the big purchase was because of the book money. Elizabeth Begg with a $10 super chat. Shrimp on the Barbie. All good, guys. Love how you do my accent. Love you guys. Awesome. So getting better, right?
The awesome was really good. A few words were a little bit British, but I'm feeling it, James.
I'm trying my best. I'm struggling. You know the crazy thing, ugly American. Yeah, right, down under. The craziest thing about Americans is that we hear that you're from somewhere, and then we automatically try to do your accent.
Why do we do that? Why?
And we're terrible. Nobody's good. We're just like, hello, governor. Like nobody.
Right.
I'm sure
nobody
the British
sounds like that. I'm fitting in, right? I could come live in your town. No, you couldn't.
Americans aren't even good at American accents. Like I swear, I grew up in Alabama. Every actor who's not from the South who tries to do an American Southern accent sucks. Like even the best actors, they cannot do the American South unless they're from the American South.
Yeah, you have to be down there. Like, and it's not because because I spent a lot of time down in like Georgia and stuff when I was a kid. I was saying that yesterday, but it's because everybody tries to make it real lazy and slow, but it's not. It's not because it's too intentional when they do it, which kind of goes against the idea of it being easy going. Like Southern accents are way more easy.
It just depends on what you're doing. But don't give me like a Virginia Southern accent. If you're like in like bum F Texas, that is not what people in Texas sound like, man.
Right. Funny is that like northern Florida has like southern drawl. Some areas. And so I've encountered like quite a few Floridians. And I'm like, where are you from? They're like, Jacksonville. And it's like, oh, okay.
Are you sure? Yeah.
Don't get much of that in these parts.
Right. Jacksonville by way of Mississippi. Like,
right, yeah, it's like, but yeah, no, like there's certain areas in Florida where it's very southern sounding.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. So Florida is the South. Like people get confused because of the Mickey Mouse thing, but it's the South.
Mm-hmm.
As a guy who used to travel to Florida, it's the South. it's very much the South.
Right. We're pretty swampy right now. Like it's pretty.
I would not trade you position, Sarah. Oh my goodness.
When your glasses fog when you walk outside because of you walk from AC to humidity and it's just like fogs up your glasses.
Lady Bliss, I'm from Atlanta. We don't talk like that. and then Elizabeth Biggs and $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I cannot do your American accent at all. Yummy Outback Steakhouse. Okay.
I love Outback, man. That's good.
I love steak. So
good bread, good blooming onions.
I'll take it. What about the whole idea of? Oh yeah, I do have like the bragging about like the square footage of the house, and we get to 4 houses, it'll be twice the size. And he was so excited about moving to those 4 houses until he got the big call where they were like, "Yeah, we're not doing that. You guys are in no financial condition to do it." What moving into season 2, episode 10? There were a lot of these 2 episodes. In fairness, they could have actually been one really long episode or blended episode. Because it's just continuous. The foolishness actually rears up. The only distraction you really had was the fact that they did the birthday party. Did you guys have anything to say about the birthday party with Mary coming in?
I didn't buy that she was surprised. There's no way production didn't give that away. And Mary, who like knows everything and has control everything, like no, Mary's not a good enough actress to pull that off.
Right. I think she would have been more pissed that they were in her house.
It reminds me of my 30th birthday, which my husband proposed at my 30th birthday party, which I knew was happening. I sent him the link to the ring that I wanted, and I was pleasantly surprised that he executed it without a hitch.
Nice.
But yeah, like that was married. Like I can believe that that's how Mary's surprise birthday party went for her. She was like, "It shall be 70s.
Yes,
it shall be."
Yeah, right. And this is my outfit, so she got to pick a litter too. And the crazy part is, just as a side note, because I thought about it and I said, I've never had a surprise party, and you have to be careful with who you surprise. Like, just as a gentle warning. Be very careful with who the surprisee is, because some people don't do well with surprises.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie What Happens in Vegas, where Cameron Diaz, she's surprising her boyfriend, and he's like, "Oh, like I'm so glad it's just us." We're like, and he breaks up with her, and then it's like, surprise.
No, that sounds amazing.
But then I think you're talking about someone who might like be reactive, like
right,
like intruder.
Right. Yeah. Get out of the house.
Yeah,
surprise. Nobody's trying to go to the emergency room.
No.
I used to love surprise parties when I was a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, no, I need to like mentally prepare if I'm gonna be expected to like party. I want it on my terms. I don't want to be forced,
Right. They have to get ready to be around people. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
I'm not sure if I want to hang out with these folks tonight.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the oh no, I jumped back. Okay, so we had the whole thing with them moving to Vegas, and this is the part where they were going to tell the kids. It was actually in episode 10 where they were going to tell the kids we're moving in 3 days. The biggest problem, and let me know if this is kind of you guys think. I've always said that if I don't mind helping friends move, but I want to help you move. I don't want to help you pack. And one of the things that drives me crazy with the Brown family is that they never seem to prepare to move. Like they always seem to be packing at the last minute, throwing stuff in the boxes, and that just annoys the shit out of me. Every time I see it, just kills me.
How rude was it that they're just like, oh, we're gonna have like friends and family come in and like clean up after us?
Right.
What?
Right.
Like, come to find out, they actually like maintained ownership of that house, so like they didn't have to like move. But also, this was the other thing I didn't understand about the thought process. It's like, you're not fleeing the country. Do you not think that they wouldn't like what's that word, extradite you to like face prosecution? Like you're not going to wherever Roman Polanski currently lives. I forget where, but yeah, like they could come arrest you in Vegas because you're literally still on a TV show.
That's what James is always reminding us of, and it makes me wonder, like, how closely did they consult an actual real attorney about what was happening with this huge part of their life? Like, because wouldn't an attorney have told them, listen, folks, it doesn't matter if you move. They can still arrest you.
If they swore the papers out, they coming for your ass. 1, 2, how about this? I can't think of one police officer, not one police officer, who, if you ran to Las Vegas, New York, LA, Miami, Florida, that hell, Houston, Texas, there's a bunch of places I could think of a cop saying, you know what, I'll go get his ass. So you're telling me that you're going to put me on a plane at the department's expense. You're going to give me per diem, fund money that I get to go and spend when I get there. So I get entertainment funds and I get paid time and a half for going. Shit, I'll go get him on Friday. I see you on Monday. You know what I mean? When the courts close, I'll fly out Friday, spend Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Then Monday morning, I'll go to the courthouse. We'll do the extradition hearing. I'll get take custody, put them on a plane, bring them back. I got 3 days overtime and on vacation. And you're in Vegas. What cop isn't going to Vegas?
Yeah.
They be fighting each other in the parking lot to go get you.
You could have had a crossover with Dog the Bounty Hunter, like on the lam for Cody.
They would be fighting in the parking lot. Who wants to go to Vegas and get the Brown family?
Yeah,
I'm going. Yeah, and they'll be out back having a Royal Rumble to see who can go lock your ass up. Like, you have to go somewhere where the cops absolutely do not want to go. I have no interest in going there. So maybe you'll escape or evade. But no, Vegas? Shit. I'll go. I'll go. But what did you guys think about like the whole because with the whole packing thing, and this kind of goes to the whole idea of them telling them. Robin's house, as we recall, was a rental because, as you mentioned, Sarah, they owned the house in Lehigh, so they could leave their stuff there. They could just pack up, lightly pack, gently pack, maybe take overnight stuff, and going out to Vegas. No fuss, no muss. However, at Robin's house, they had to pack the whole house. Why did they wait until Saturday to start packing the damn house?
Right. You gave your kids 3 days notice, but you guys have known for a while.
Right.
So you could have gotten it together a little bit sooner.
Mm-hmm. And they knew at Christmas. Remember, they were at Christmas. They told the older kids when they were in the cabin. They knew at Christmas.
That's right. Yeah.
So they could have been packing that whole time.
I'm sure they told themselves the excuse of like, oh, the kids will notice, we're terrible at being discreet. But the real answer, I'll be honest, I'm married to a symbolic brown family member who every time we've moved, she's like, "Oh, we'll be able to do everything the day before. Let's just live our lives. It's fine." I'm not that. I'm like, let's start packing 3 months ahead of time. The day we learn we're moving. Let's start this.
Right.
But my wife is she just is in the present always. It's a benefit and sometimes a flaw. And love you, baby, if you're watching this. I just some people look at their trips. Every time they go on the trip, they're like, we were supposed to leave 4 days ago, and it's taken us.
Right.
I mean, even in this episode, Logan's like, they ridiculously get a hotel when they're 25 miles away. These people are the parents are terrible. They're like, maybe Janelle and Mary are the exceptions. Some people just cannot do it. They cannot pack before they move.
Right.
I have a lot in common with your wife, Amanda, because I'm like that as well. I'm always packing the morning of my housekeeper comes on Tuesdays. I'm always up like doing like I'm never prepared, the morning of. So yeah, I'm last minute too.
How about the idea? And here's the other part of the thing, because like there were some parts, if you once you're in the know, I guess you see the stuff. But the one part that really stuck out to me was the difference, because I always like the conflict. There was a conflict because early in the episode before this, Cody sat and said, "As the leader, I made a decision. I am the leader. I make decisions. I am the one who's guiding the family, and my word is supreme and unchallenged." Then he decides that he's going to get a trailer because he has to rent a trailer because he got to move the family. And this actually cements another theory that I always had, that Janelle was actually the financial backbone of the family, because Cody had to go down and ask Janelle if he could rent a trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to rent a trailer. And then Janelle looked at him and said, "No, because we're supposed to be hidden, and we're supposed to be keeping it a secret, and I don't want to reveal that we're going to, this is what we're trying to do, etc., etc." And Cody got mad. And this was actually the first time we saw Cody and Janelle argue, and Cody walk out very similar to what he did in season 19, where he got up, "I'm not listening to you, no, and I'm out of here," and he walked out. So my question is the symbolism of him doing the same thing, of walking out on Janelle as she's trying to explain to him, "Well, we don't need to move right away. We need to get out of here. I'm buying into what you said," as well as the fact that what's her name, Maddie, was standing there watching it happen. And then he'll complain that I don't understand why the kids are mad at me.
Yeah. I think I might have missed your question, but I was I was following like the logic. It's
because I guess the whole idea is, do you ascribe to the idea, or at least my theory, that Janelle was actually the powerhouse and the decision maker in the family?
100%.
Because Cody couldn't make the decision. Because I even said to my wife, like, we were sitting there and I told her, "No, you absolutely can't do something that she wanted to do." She's like, "Well, I wasn't asking you. I was just merely giving you the courtesy of telling you." Telling you what I'm gonna do. And she has her own money, so she could go and do whatever she wants to do. And even if even if she used my account, she just make decisions because she has that authority. Right. Whereas Cody didn't have that authority in that family.
No, he was for sure asking for permission, and he got shut down, and he threw a hissy fit for sure. Yeah.
He also gets shut down about the anniversary camping trip sleeping bag purchase. So she does, I think, have final say. I don't know that I would say, because I think Cody really does battle her on that, and he kind of throws a tantrum. But like, I go back to their background of when he moved and Janelle didn't go with him initially. Yeah. It takes a little bit of like, no, I do wear the pants for him to just leave her,
Right.
Yeah. That whole, like, I would love to. There are so many revelations from the book that I would just love to know more about. And one of them is that when everyone moved and Janelle was like, nah, like, and she stayed with all of her kids too, because McKelty talked about how they didn't see those siblings for like 7 or 8 months or however long Janelle didn't live with them.
Oh, so I didn't realize the kids were old enough to remember it at that point. In my mind, I just assumed they were younger.
I think they like saw each other maybe like, I don't know, like during the days or something, but like they didn't live with their siblings at the time. So, and I forget where they moved, but Janelle stayed in like Montana or something. So I don't know, were they like a state away? I forget.
Yeah, I think that's about accurate.
Yeah. She'll be back. Amanda will be back.
It's just that time. That time. Well, let's take a step back. What about when Leon was sitting there and they were arguing? I thought it was kind of endearing when Maddie and Aspen spoke up for Leon, and saying that, you know, they're not comfortable with this move because they weren't getting along with being at the public school already. And that's this little public school. We're going to go to Vegas?
Yeah.
They are not ready, you know?
Yeah.
They're not ready for prime time.
There's probably weirdos in Vegas. Like, who knows? Yay!
She's back.
Sorry again.
You're back. But we're talking about Aspen and Maddie sticking up for Leon and saying, you know, they're not ready. They can't move. They're here in this school. They're struggling in this public school. And now you're trying to send them off to Vegas public school. And then Cody responds with, yeah, but wouldn't you guys all like to go to school together? We already go to school together, sucker. What about?
Yeah, that was such an interesting scene where the kids all kind of decide they're going to come together and they're going to be like, you can do this to us, but not to Leon.
Right.
Very passionate, interesting scene. I wonder if that surprised the producers and the parents.
And I think that speaks to how much Leon was struggling.
Right.
And like how even more messed up this was. Like, I don't know what the situation was where how long they tried public school and then went back, but like it clearly was a negative enough situation for Leon that it was known throughout the family. It wasn't just Mary who knew Leon didn't really like public school. It was like everybody knew Leon has to be in this school.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I did appreciate the fact that they stood tough for them and they tried to make the case for him. The only thing that made it kind of weird was when Leon kind of turned on him, was like, "Oh, you don't think I thought about that?" I was like,
"You don't think I know this?"
That was so fascinating when Leon was like, "Don't speak for me." Like, oh man.
Like, I'm on your side. I'm trying to help you. Okay, fine. You got it.
That was out of pocket. You know, I felt for Leon, but then I was like, come on.
All right. They're on your side, yeah.
Well, I mean, Maddie and Aspen are kind of saying like Leon can't function in society. We gotta put them in this this is the only place that Leon can function. And Leon's like, don't you think I know that? It's like, oh, okay.
I didn't think you could make it worse, but it sounds worse. Like,
yeah.
And also, I'm sure part of it too, because like, you know, my sister and I had a touch of this. Sometimes as siblings, you just like, oh, we lost Sarah a bit. Sometimes as siblings, you'll just like band behind a cause because you're just like, this is the cause that we're deciding to get behind. And so I think there was like a touch of that. I was like, we have no say. We're all going to get screwed over. Like, let's try to save Leon.
Right. Or maybe there was it wasn't as because I gave them a lot of credit, but maybe it wasn't as as virtuous as I thought. Maybe they were just trying to give, Leon an opening so they could walk through that same door. Well, if Leon's staying, why can't we stay too? Like,
could be a touch of that. I do think it
Right.
was like mostly virtuous though.
right.
I think they really love Leon, and those siblings really are all the OG kids, especially. They have each other's backs in a way that makes the episode so hard.
Mm. Yeah, because it's a rough. The whole thing was rough. It was rough to watch. Played off the cuff.
My issues were contagious. I gave them to Sarah.
spreading. Talk to now blah, 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 blah. Play off the cuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, one of the weird things to me was even kind of going back like to the whole idea of the trailer incident, because that also revealed something else. Because when Cody was sitting there arguing with Janelle about the trailer, when he didn't get what he wanted, I thought it was very interesting that he walked out of Janelle's space, walked himself right down to Christine's space, and started complaining about Janelle and calling her like, your sister wife was, no, that's your wife. No, she's your sister wife for now. And this, ironically, this is actually the scene I think about a lot of the times when Cody would say things like, oh, you would have disagreements with Janelle and put me in the middle. And I'm like, no, but I saw you go down to Christine and start talking trash on Janelle. So, I mean, that existed too in that same space. So what did you have any thoughts about that? Or like even just the fact that ironically, the person that he ran to was Christine to talk about Janelle.
I'm glad you said that, because I really hadn't noticed that. Yeah, this is an early indication that he does talk shit about his wives to his other wives. And if he's doing it on camera, like, yeah, this is something he habitually does. And probably in a worse way off camera. So very interesting that he, when he doesn't get his way with Janelle, he runs to Christine. He acts like a child a lot in these episodes.
Right. Which kind of takes away from the whole, I am the patriarch. Don't follow me. I wouldn't feel comfortable either. You know what I mean?
Well, especially, and you can feel, oh, sorry, what?
No, I was saying, especially making these big life decisions, but go ahead.
Right. Yeah. Well, and they're making these huge decisions. They're surely exaggerating for the storyline and for the show and the cameras. And even if they're not consciously, when there's a camera there and you're on a reality TV show and it's like the end of season 2, you got to perform. So they're tormenting these kids, and you see it in Janelle when later on Janelle is so frustrated as they're moving. Janelle's like, let's just get the F out of here, Oh, there she is.
You're back.
Oh, okay. I can't see the chat because I'm on my phone. My laptop died. And
oh no!
Now I'm just speaking into a fake microphone. It's not plugged in anymore.
Sarah's like,
hey. Is this thing on? So sorry,
it's
guys.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Great to be back on the live stream here.
Right.
I'm like, why am I like adjusting this? It's serving no purpose.
Right.
So sorry if things sound weird. But ill prepared for life. I am the Browns moving. I am. This is what happens.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back, because one of the big things that I wanted to touch on, and one of the last things I wanted to touch on, ironically enough, but before we do that, make sure that you guys hit that like button. And if you're not yet subscribed to the 3 channels, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Mm-hmm. So, but to get into it, I have to ask this question. What about them trying to drive 6 hours to Las Vegas on the baloney skin ass tires? Like, this was a tragedy. This was a Greek tragedy. What do you guys think about that?
Poor Logan.
Right.
Logan's like, Was it this time where he was like, "This is a 6-hour drive"? Oh no, that was the when
No,
they
it was
were
this time
driving to
too.
Wyoming.
He
What?
did it
Yeah,
both times. He did it
oh,
both
he
times.
did. Okay.
Yeah, he
He
did
was
it
like,
both
"This
times.
should take us, 6 hours, but it'll probably take us like 14," and then it ends up taking them like 3 days.
Right. It's terrible. It's
Yeah, I
terrible.
kind of wish I'm gonna like edit wise. Because like this was kind of funny. It was so bad, but we just watched all these heavy scenes with the kids, and so they edited everything like a thriller in these episodes. And I wish it would have been a little more cartoony because I
Right.
really was. I even felt sorry for Robin. I was just like, oh, if James is right, like Robin's like, oh my, I procreated with that. I have this man's child in my belly. Cody's such an idiot. He's
Right.
such an idiot. He purposefully puts the wrong size tire on. Like just
Janelle has a full spare. That'll be good enough.
You're right. One's a Ford. Actually, what makes it worse? I didn't even really think about it till you just said that, Sarah. I'm so glad you said it.
Yeah.
Not only now, there's because he said the wheel configuration because it had it's a 5 lug nut configuration. But the problem is that he wasn't even going, Honda to Ford, which is like basically standard. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Standard nut size to metric nut size. That makes a difference. 1, 2, you went from a car to a minivan. Because Janelle had a car. She didn't have a truck or an SUV or a minivan. She had a car. So you put a car tire on a minivan on a highway and say, good luck. And thank God, Christine. Like, I don't know how this family do it. My mom always said, fools and children. The Lord looks out for fools and children. Because if they were on that highway, the same way he sheared those bolts off just by trying to change the tire, he would have sheared those same bolts off trying to drive down at highway speeds. He could have wiped out part of his family.
Yeah, that was pretty dangerous.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
He did that.
It's pretty dangerous to experiment on vehicles that like contain large chunks of your family.
Right.
And
yeah, he didn't even drive it. He
Yeah.
didn't even drive it.
He probably purposely did it. Sorry, Sarah.
Oh, no,
Yeah, right.
It was Christine's car, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Suburban, right?
Well,
And
no,
then
he was driving a Suburban. She was driving Robin's minivan. Robin was driving his car.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
when Christine's went down and hers was the second, he was like, "I hate you. You're done. Don't talk
Yeah.
to me."
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because he was driving because the Tahoe was the car that broke down before that has the new motor in it. That's the car he was driving. Mary was driving a big old Hekin truck. Mary, I gotta get at it. Mary, mad props to you, girlfriend, because you are a driving fool, boy. She drive them big ass cars. Mary is no joke on the road. Mary will drive a big ass moving truck with a trailer on the back. Salute, like straight up salute. Mary's no joke. She was driving a big moving truck. Janelle was driving her car. Robin was driving the Lexus, because remember that was the first car that had the flat tire. And she said, I was driving down the street and all of a sudden a light came on and I pull over to the side of the road and I noticed the tire was shredded. That was the Lexus.
And this is like, you're talking about an old trip. That's not these episodes, right?
No, it's this episode.
Oh, so I'm so confused. I thought it was 2 of the bigger vehicles.
Yeah, no, it was the Lexus got the first flat, which he came out and he said, oh, after I got the tire off, they didn't have my size tire, so I had to buy 2 of them. Remember he said that?
Okay.
The problem is if you have a luxury car, those tires are expensive, jackass. Welcome to the world of automotive magic. If you have sports cars and luxury cars, those tires are expensive. So he paid a lot of money for tires that actually didn't even go on his car. So that was the first part. That was the Lexus. Then the minivan caught a flat. And that was a car Christine was driving, and she was driving Robin's minivan. She was driving Robin's Honda because she had a Honda Odyssey. And the when he sheared off the bolts because he put the wrong tire on, he sheared off two nuts. When you do the change of tires, do it in a star pattern so that the car is even. If you go side by side, you shear off one nut, go across the hub so that way your tire is even. He went right next to it, so he had two bolts sheared off in the same pattern right next to each other, which makes the car crazy dangerous.
I'm like Cody during his talk with the kids. I'm like writing this down. Like, what else did you say? How do you change a tire?
But the whole thing is that if you notice, after he took those tires off and he we went down, got a hotel room, and everything was fine. And then we went down to the next exit. We got new treads for you call tires treads. We got new treads on the vehicles, and then we drove. If you look at the picture that they showed when they showed the new treads, they didn't change the hub. So they didn't replace those two bolts because that would have cost $400. It would have cost them maybe $400 to have that hub replaced in addition to replacing the tires. So he probably would have spent about $600 to change the tire.
God damn. Jeez.
Yeah. But he had his wife driving with only of the 5 bolts that go on that tire to hold that tire on, she was only driving around with 3 of them.
Wow.
All the way to Vegas. And that was the car that Christine was in. And that's why she was like, he was so mad about, I'm so angry. And he cussed her ass out because the tire got flat. Here's a question that my wife asked when we were watching it. I was like, that fucking shit. Oh, apart my friend. I was like, that's brilliant. she called me and she asked a question. She said, how are they going to buy 4 new houses when they couldn't even afford tires? You know what I mean? They couldn't afford to put tires on the cars, the right tires on the cars, but they were going to buy 4 brand new houses. Explain that to me.
Why did I not question that? I mean, this show hasn't been, I wasn't 10 when this show premiered. Like, I was still an adult, but these thoughts never occurred to me 10 years ago.
Right,
I was on board. It made sense. You can't afford to fix your car. You drive on that threadbare tire to Vegas. And then, yes, buy 4 brand new houses. Yes, that makes sense.
Right. That's what everybody does.
Yes.
Do you think it's possible that production was like so down, like that they negotiated something with production about, hey, if we're gonna like really stress this storyline, can you like help us out with our initial rentals or something? Because you're right, it really doesn't make sense.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
Or I think maybe they got, because book advances are a thing. So maybe they got an advance. But yeah, James, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in down payments that they would have had to have put down for these homes. Where did they get that money?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money. Like, and I have to say this. I like to say that I'm very adventurous when it comes to a lot of decisions I make, especially professionally and stuff. I take a lot of chances, and I recognize that.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Right, exactly. There you go. I love it. Risk it for the biscuit. But this family would drive me to drink. There's no way I couldn't operate like this. I would be crazy. Like, I couldn't move to a place, right?
They do all start drinking. They start out, none of them drinking.
Yeah.
By the end of the show, they all drink now.
Well, I mean, the 3 of us know firsthand, what are the odds you're going to be successful on YouTube, right? Like, that's a huge risk. You're putting your time, your energy, your resources into a maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah, but so I am fully on board with, you have to take risks in life, but to watch stupidity is just, oh my God. Robin, when she's saying that there's no way God is not going to provide a rental, I am of the belief that God helps those who help themselves. This is like saying you're not going to go to the doctor because you believe a cure is going to just fall out of the sky. or your house is flooding and you say no to the life-saving people that come to save you because God is going to save you. Maybe God sent that paramedic, you
Right.
know?
Right.
I don't
Right.
know.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the old joke. Like when your house is flooded, a guy comes by in a bus, you be like, no, God is gonna
Yeah.
save me. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, a dude comes by in a boat. God's gonna save me. Get out of here. God's gonna save me. The guy pull up with a helicopter. Get out of here. God's gonna save me. Then you die. You go to heaven. Be like, Lord, I thought you were gonna save me, man. I sent you a bus. I sent you a boat. And I sent you a helicopter.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That was
And
like a
that's what they are.
sermon in church that I listened to as a kid. It's like, yeah, don't miss all the signs because you're looking for like some grand sign.
Right. And here's
And
one.
I don't want to
No,
get
go.
overly religious, but God was like, "Don't move, like stay put."
Yes.
What do I have to do? Drop like a freaking 2-ton pound thing on your cars? Like,
Yeah.
Right. I got to drive a house on you and watch
Yeah.
your little feet curl up and your little ruby slippers shoot off
He's
your
like,
feet.
"Do I have to go back to the burning bush thing? Are you not
Right.
going to listen to me?"
But it's like that's what we're conditioned to expect, right? Is like a burning bush, or it's like no, it could be a lot simpler than that.
Right. Oh, Teresa Skinner, 1999 super sticker.
Thank you,
Woohoo.
Teresa.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. Here's the craziest thing. I thought of as well. When I was watching this and I was listening to this, like, wow, they were so committed to get out to Vegas when
Mhm.
they had like 2 flat tires. According to them, they had been riding on a 6-hour trip. That 4 hours, they only got about 25 miles. After 4 hours, they still had another 6 hours to go. They drove on the road. They had a flat tire in the car. Robin had a flat. Christine had a flat. Then the next day, after they got all the tires changed, they had another flat on the trailer. And it was like flat tire after flat tire after flat tire, reason after reason as to why they shouldn't go. And Cody had sat on the couch and said, we had gave up too much and we had sacrificed. We lost some friends and we weren't giving up this hill. My neck was stiff. We were going no matter what. It put a contrast to me when I listened to Garrick from Seeking Sister Wives, and he said, how did you know to get another wife? Well, the wind blew. Like, so you go from like, I want to get a sister wife, and that's the Lord telling me because the wind blew and a cup fell over in my garage, versus
Yeah.
I can get another wife.
Right. The Lord is talking to me. What'd you say, Lord? But go to the strip club. They're like, but all of a sudden you got blowout after blowout after blowout. It's like the Lord don't want you to leave Lehigh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Lord is telling you something.
Right. And he insisted, like, if the Lord want me to stay, he have to audibly tell me that he don't want me to go. Like, but when it comes to like, oh, well, I had a feeling in my spirit to get another wife and ruin my family. Like, come on, man. Sometimes it's not the Lord talking to you. That's all I'm saying.
James, even if the Lord audibly said, Cody, bro, Cody would be like, Lord, you're doing reverse psychology on me, aren't you?
Right.
You want us to move. I know what you're doing. Like,
la, 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 la.
Blockhead.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, because I saw that, I was like, this dude, it takes some convincing, but he eventually gets himself out to Vegas, and he's so excited to be out there. And as things turn out, especially watching back on these earlier episodes, as you guys mentioned earlier, it's very haunting to watch a lot of the predictions that they had actually come to fruition.
For sure.
With Christine, this is going to destroy, bringing her in is going to destroy our family. You're replacing us to, this move is going to destroy our family. This move, actually, I could say was a big step towards destroying a family. But, the one thing I did have, when they were leaving, this is kind of my last point that we can do a summation, but my last thing was when Cody was saying on the couch, he said, I'm tired of running. I'm tired of hiding when he was trying to convince Janelle to get the trailer. I'm tired of hiding. I want to be in plain sight when I run away because they were running away. They were running away from Utah and running to Vegas, but he wanted everybody to know that he was tired of hiding and tired of being concealed. So I thought it was a little bit of a contrast. Well, what did you guys think of the overall day or the overall episodes so far with regard to them moving to Vegas?
It made my day worse. Terrible. Just I know I said this at the beginning, but just my overall thought watching these episodes was this is terrible. This is horrible to watch. It's one of the worst things on the show that happened, and like, you know, they aren't perfect. Every single, you know, I'm always like Queen Christine, blah blah blah. You know, oh, you know, they're our faves. Every single one of these parents, I think, did this wrong, messed this up. You know, they're all equally responsible. For sure we're doing it at least partly for the storyline. And I will never forget Peyton's face and the combination of like shock and just pure pain. And this makes me be like, nope, they're all horrible. Like, I know I'll be back to Queen Christine at some point in the future, but like right now, I just am not okay with all of them, all the parents.
They're queens now because they ultimately put their kids first, but they spent a lot of years subjecting their kids to bullshit just to appease Cody. There is culpability, plenty of culpability to go around.
No, I think that's both fair observations, especially because one of the things that really bothered me with this, especially with the move, knowing that you're going to move, knowing that this is something you're going to do well ahead of time. So it wasn't required that you do it this way. And then you tell them, you spring it on them, guys, we're moving in 3 days. Then you tell them you can't tell anybody that we're leaving. So we're going to escape like thieves in the night. And I'm sure everything is going to be okay. And one of the things that is kind of telling to me is that when they do these moves, there's very little consideration for the kids when they do these moves, because he doesn't consider how they feel about anything. It's all about how he's taking it. Oh, I'm going to have a bad time too, because I'm giving up my career and I'm giving up my friends and my community. But he doesn't look at it as the same way. Like kind of what you had said earlier, Amanda, you guys are in school. Like when you move somewhere, like when I moved to my house, like I bought my house here. And I moved out here. One of my big considerations was there were a couple of houses I could have bought that were a little further out, a little more, you know, amenities or whatever. But they were in neighborhoods that my kids might have had a rough time in school. You know what I mean? So that was always a thing where I had to look at it and say, do I really want to move them? I could get along there. It doesn't matter to me. I just close my door, stay on my porch. Everything will be fine. But for my kids to be in school with people that they might not get along with, it could mess them up. So that's the stuff that has to go into, and I didn't see that with them. So I think it was very abusive. Like I thought this was it was cruel. Like it was cruel abusive. So
yeah, I echo all of those sentiments as well.
Yeah, but and just the just overall, my other impression, they have to get better with moving. And I've never seen anybody. I could never ever move to a place like if I'm where I am now. If I said I'm going to move to California and I don't know anybody there, I don't have a rental, I don't know where I'm gonna stay, I don't know where I'm gonna work. But when I get there, I'm gonna find a job, I'm gonna find a place to stay, and I'm gonna be successful. I could never do that. I would go crazy. I would cry every day. Like it'd be a shame.
Yeah, I have done this before, but I was like a single 26-year-old, I moved to Chicago and I didn't have a place to stay and I just had the shit in the back of my car and probably not enough money you would want to have when you pick up your whole life. But if it's just me, it's just me. I can always tuck my tail between my legs and run back home or, worst case scenario, go to a shelter. You've got this huge family. You have to be responsible enough to plan ahead, make sure the kids are going to feel safe. You're driving at all hours of the night, getting in accidents. Like, they could have seriously killed somebody doing what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the things. I'm glad you said that, because that was one of the things that really bothered me. If you're doing this kind of traveling for this long period of time, especially with these young kids, why do you insist on going? Especially, your car is sketchy as hell. Everybody know, like, where your car is. Like, you know what I mean? If you have a good car, you have a good car. If you have a car that's like, I probably should be traveling with this mother.
Yeah.
If I do risk it, I'm gonna make sure that the sun is fully up, so that way, when I'm on the side of the road, I'm not as horrified in the darkness. But they didn't do any of that stuff. It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And I agree with you guys that this is something that everybody, all the adults are responsible for. Like, this isn't just something that falls on Cody because he made the decision. Because as I was saying with Janelle, there are things that he could insist upon, but without her facility, he didn't really have the authority or ability to carry a lot of the stuff out that he wanted to do.
Yep.
I think that's also part of the reason why Maddie was so mad at him. Mad at Janelle. Or Hunter, rather, was so angry with Janelle for a long period of time. Mm-hmm. But that's all I had. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about these 2 episodes before we close it out?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay.
Nope, terrible covers it for me.
Terrible. Just put the stamp on it. Terrible. Did you guys have anything coming up this week? Yeah, right. Hated it. Did you guys have anything coming up this week that folks should be looking out for?
Yeah, I'll have a new video out. I'm gonna be talking with Amy Archer from Little Miss Recap. She does a podcast. We're gonna be talking the Karen retrial, so that should be fun. Yep. So
all right.
Yeah.
If you guys are legal beagles, make sure you check out Sarah's retrial, because I gotta get caught up on that, because I said I was going to, and I haven't really had an opportunity to take a look, but I will be checking it out. What about you, Amanda? Do you have anything coming up people should be keeping an eye out for?
Nothing solid right now. I'm going to be doing like some experimenting between now and season 19. Keep your attention abreast. I don't know why I said abreast.
We are down to experiment with you.
All right.
I'm still, so TBD.
All right.
There you go. And besides, who doesn't mind experiment with a little breast every now and again? Anywho.
Best note ever to end the live stream on.
And for me, all you got to do is just check out my channel. I'm going to be doing some videos on the reactions to Benjamin, the Fresh King, and his TikTok stuff. I'll be doing some reviews on that. And I'm also rolling out a new channel, my take on Family Court. So that should be dropping this week too. So
sweet.
Make sure you check those things out. And thank you guys so much. I'm James. That's my take on reality with Reality Amanda, as well as Sarah from Sarah Spills and Reality Squad. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Oh, and before we go, I always forget. I want to make sure I thank and recognize the moderators, Lizzie B, as well as Rochelle J from my end. I saw a sarcasm for fun. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I cannot see the chat anymore, so I apologize. But thank you, mods.
I think you have sarcasm for fun.
Yeah.
Kendra Moi.
Yes.
Is in the house.
Lizzie B, I don't know if he said that.
And a comedy mod.
That's sarcasm, I think.
Oh.
Well, but maybe not.
Yeah, because I see sarcasm for fun as well as but if you're different, thank you. If you're the same person, double thank you. That's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done. Yes, we will.
Mods.
Thank you guys, and thank everybody for staying in the chat saying super cool. Thank you for spending time with us, because we understand that you guys could be spending your time anywhere else, but you chose to spend a little time with us.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it. So have a great night.
Bye,
Thank you guys
guys.
so much.
Bye.
Bye.